What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my main channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the debate or watch live, you can subscribe to my second channel, which is Nathan Oakley. There is also a link in the info box below this video. Now, we are joined by Alan B and Sleeping Warrior, so I'll raise the mic on them and they can keep you entertained while I set up for the first live show.
You sound tired, Tony.
I sound what?
You sound tired.
No, I'm not tired. I've not even started today. I'm not even actually technically. I'm not dressed yet. I'm not technically.
Oh, I didn't need to be picturing that.
No, I'm in my robe, dressing gown. I'm just not bothered doing anything today because it's freezing cold outside. It's miserable, dark.
It's beautiful here.
Really, it's dark, miserable, fucking shite.
Blue sky.
Isn't it longest day's coming up, isn't it?
21st.
What are we on now?
Shortest day. Shortest.
Yeah, the shortest day, yeah. Sorry. Longest night, shortest day. I hate this time of the year, me. So much prefer summer.
Yeah, me too. Stupid calling December the 1st New Year as well. Nothing new about it. Right in the middle of winter. Ridiculous. Let's go out and celebrate the new year in the pitch black.
Yeah, tonight's going to be Friday's going to be the mental night in town, isn't it?
Friday, is that why? Well, we normally have the worst night being Boxing Night.
Oh, it's the worst night in town for me is the Friday before Christmas. It's when all the office workers who don't usually drink.
Yeah, and they all end up getting blotto.
Yeah.
You ever heard the term, ignore Flat Earth Debate for a second, Alan. Do you know what the term baller means outside of this debate?
Baller?
Yes.
Yeah, not within Flat Earth. If a footballer described himself as a baller, what would you interpret that to mean?
A player?
Go on.
But outside of football and Flat Earth, what would you interpret the word baller to mean? Have you ever heard it used?
I think I've heard it used in America.
For what?
For basketball?
Yeah, you're right again. The most obscure one is the one that I immediately came to. So, baller, in my understanding, meant somebody successful. Like somebody driving... In car context, they would describe a Rolls Royce as a baller car.
Oh, is that to do with the ball of cash or something like that?
I don't know
the reason why I'm asking is because Paul Pogba... You know Mourinho got sacked, right?
Yeah.
Paul Pogba gloated because obviously they had this rift, didn't they, where they fell out with each other. And Pogba's gloated publicly and said he's fucked with the wrong baller. And that was the word he used. And I thought, baller? I thought, what the fuck's he referring to? I thought, is he about Flat Earth or what? Because I'd never even heard it. I didn't know what the phrase meant. And Nathan said, no, it just means someone successful or high flying.
Yeah, or a good player, a baller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that seems the most obvious, but it's very uncommon for certainly British. I know he's French, according to Anthony. I don't know this person at all, but I've certainly never heard a British footballer call themselves a baller. That's just a bit.
I think I've seen it on one of those prank shows where they send nerds to play basketball.
Right. Yeah, certainly in the dictionary it refers specifically to basketball.
See, and the other thing was, do you remember that song? By the way, is that Hoover loud in the background?
Yeah.
I can't really do anything about it at the minute, but should be done in a sec.
Let us know.
I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Exactly. Well, no, but maybe he's referring. That's like That's probably a basketball reference. Because it's a little bit taller, right?
Why are you expecting a footballer to make any sense?
Well, I'm not. It was just he was gloating, and in the context of gloating, I was like, I don't understand how that's a gloat. Obviously, it's obviously an in lingo thing that if you're a footballer, that's what you say. But I'd never heard it, and I was like, oh, is he saying that Jose Mourinho is a flat earther and it's a flat earth rib? I didn't get it.
I doubt this stereotype's changed, but is that still the case? Obviously, the rugby players are the educated ones. Is it still true that footballers are proper where's your chewing gum, thick as two short shits?
Yeah, I think they're classed as dopey bastards, aren't they?
Still, there's no educated footballers.
The what?
No educated footballers.
I think there probably is, because the ratio or the numbers would suggest there's always going to be.
Yeah, there's bound to be educated football. A lot of people don't go into football because they want to put education first. Football's not seen to be the priority unless they're football mad, and then in that case they can't be stopped. But
it's one of those professions like becoming a movie star. You know, you might train. That was my, obviously a delusion back when I was a teenager. But, the chances of you actually becoming a professional footballer are slim to none. But if you do, it's obviously very, very rewarding financially, I'm sure.
Yeah, I went to school with a guy called Ian Moore, and he ended up playing for Tranmere Rovers. And he was 19 and he got his first professional contract, and he was on £4,000 a week.
Wow.
Now, obviously, that's nothing now. Like, even back then, it wasn't a good wage. But £4,000 a week it's just ridiculous amounts of money. It's like, what the fuck?
About what I earn a year.
Yeah.
It always used to crack me up, the weekly salaries, back when I was mildly interested in football. They've gone much, much, much higher since I paid attention. You see transfer fees of 100 million plus now, and you're like, that's just silly.
Yeah, it's madness. What bugs me is Liverpool sold Coutinho for 150 million or whatever it was.
How much?
And then basically that's the money that they need to buy the whole new stand. They only paid 7 million for him. It's like, well, why don't we get this fucking new stand sorted?
What about your stand?
They've redeveloped the main stand, and it's no longer small and shitty. It's like a proper stand.
No, but go on.
They're about to do the same with the Anfield Road end, because the Anfield Road end is terrible. It's like dead small, but it's made to look even smaller now because it's got this Goliath stand next to it, and it's actually shit. Anfield Road end is shit. So they've got planning permission to do it, and they're about to do it, but they're saying that they've not got they're saying that it's not financially viable because they haven't got the support of the fans behind it. And what they're attacking is the ticket price revolt from last season, when the fans just said that's too much. You can't charge us 80 quid a ticket.
I could literally take that story, probably go back to 1995, and pull out an almost identical story from another team back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're just making us wait now for it because we said no to the ticket price hike. But the problem is it's counterproductive because, yeah, they're filling the stadium now, but if they put that new stand in, for the time it takes them to build that stand, and then obviously once it opens, there's a shortage of tickets anyway. There's an even more of a shortage whilst the old stand gets demolished. And then when the new stand then opens, they probably won't fill it if they put the prices up because nobody can afford to go. 80 quid a ticket's too high. I mean, I haven't been to a football match in years because of the price of tickets. I refuse to pay it. I'm not being a sheep just for the sake of watching football, especially when I can watch it on Sky Sports, which you're already paying for anyway. It's like paying twice.
I mean, I every so often go to the Birmingham City matches with my dad on Boxing Day, and it certainly isn't 80 quid to go and watch them play. Or watch
no, that's lose. Birmingham City, isn't it? No one watches them.
Well, right, quite right.
You'll pay 50 quid for Anfield and United, and they want to put it up to 68 quid the ticket price was. And that's why everybody walked out on the 68th minute. I mean, that is the most expensive ticket price. That's not all of them, but even so, it's
about the price they're paying for players.
I know.
I don't know. The whole thing's nuts. I don't know. So, Alan, you there?
Yeah, just fiddling.
Do you criticise the lack of location data from St Helens picture?
No, I just said you're in a different position.
Again?
Pardon? Say that again, Alan.
I just said you're in a different position.
Right, that's not the point he's asking.
Okay, what are you asking?
You've only got one
You were meant to go to
position, one
Conspiracy
single
Cats and
frame.
ask him, why isn't he?
Conspiracy
Cat.
Cat. I spoke to Conspiracy Cats yesterday, and he said he's going to answer in a video. So you get your answer either way.
So there actually is a reason why he hasn't revealed it.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
I mean, he's been asked like loads of times for it. I don't get why he wouldn't reveal it initially. He calls it a trap, but I'm like, well, no, it's not. It's not a trap. It's actually what you're supposed to do. Because we can't even have a conversation until we know that this information. It's the same with Miles Davis
And Tim Osman.
and Tim Osman. Yeah, I don't know if it's rookie mistakes that we all made when we first started doing observations, or whether it's intentional deception by ballers who can't accept that the Earth's not a ball. Alan, you know it's not a ball, really, don't you, Alan?
Sorry, Tony. I'm just looking at the 8 screws I've got to remove.
How long's it taken you to do this single iPhone?
Well, I've done the battery, but the charger port's faulty as well. So it's really intermittent about whether it shows up. So I've just got to take the bottom half of the phone apart now.
Sure it's the charging port?
Yeah, it is. It just doesn't show up. The new battery, fully charged before it went in. It's perfect. Everything works, but I can't get a charge into it.
Have you tried a different lead?
Yep. Tried it not connected to a computer, connected to a computer.
Yeah.
You
They're
know,
only
£3.25.
£3.25.
They recognise the official iPod chargers now. So if you try and use a fake one, it won't work.
Seems to be okay.
I mean, that might not be the case because yours is quite old. It's a 6, right? So that's...
Yeah.
I think it's from the 7 onwards.
Yeah.
And certainly my iPad, I tried it with various chargers. None of them worked. And eventually, after spending... You throw good money after bad, don't you? You buy a lead and you buy a charger and it doesn't work. And then you buy a replacement lead and that doesn't work. And so on and so forth. And then eventually I said to my sister, I was like, last birthday, I can't afford an Apple charger. It's about 50 quid.
Yeah, they're
a
outrageous.
charger. I was like, can you buy me that for my birthday? She's like, 50 quid for your birthday? I was like, yeah. Please. Like,
Yeah, it's just a project.
"20 minutes and we're going live."
Fascinating how they get everything so small.
Yeah.
I agree. I couldn't quite believe how little there is in a MacBook. The motherboard's only about 12 inches by 3 inches.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, they're very small.
Shocking. And some of the MacBooks, I think it's the normal MacBook, not Pro or Air, doesn't even have a fan.
No, it does it through the aluminium, doesn't it?
When I first heard that, I was like, you've got to be joking. No wonder they all thermal throttle.
Yeah, they don't like being on the bed.
They don't like being used. Do anything even slightly labour intensive and it immediately thermal throttles. You're like, well, how can you... It just, I've lost for words whenever I talk about this, because you just think, who in their right mind would go out and buy a product that thermal throttles, especially if you're using it for any professional application like editing? It just beggars belief that anyone even buys these things now.
I honest to God, I sit here as a non-Apple iPhone user, and I wonder why the fuck all I ever hear about iPhone products is continual complaints. I never ever hear them saying, "Oh, they're fucking brilliant." These, I just hear them saying they can't hold a charge, you can't change the battery, the glasses are too expensive, nothing works on it if you try and fix it yourself. Sorry, Alan.
The reason they're used is simple, because people who produce photographs or movies or music want the stability. That was, I don't know if it's still the case, the main, if not only reason people bought them. Yes, the software was nice and it integrated well and it worked smoothly, but it was more the fact that they didn't crash. So if you're recording something, it's absolutely critical that the software's stable. And on a PC, it just isn't. So yes, there's plenty of studios that do use PCs, but a huge chunk of them use Macs for that very reason, because they're stable. Thermal throttling doesn't mean it's crashing either.
Software
Just slows it down. So on a MacBook Pro, yeah, it slows down to 1/10 the speed it could render your video once you've done it, but it's still going to render, and it'll probably render successfully 3 hours later.
I just don't see that as an attractive force to me. I'd rather have the better hardware that may crash 1 in 1,000 times, but for the rest of the time it works better. It's upgradable. Anybody can do it with a screwdriver. Basic knowledge, it's not that big of a deal.
You've never owned a Mac, have you?
My dad's got numerous Macs, and to be honest with you, he's always had problems with them. He thinks he hasn't got problems with them, but I just don't have problems with my stuff. All the hardware works.
You couldn't justify one, but your missus definitely could. She
A
could
PC's way better than a Mac.
Well, she just buy a desktop Mac, not a shitty laptop.
No, she's honest to God, her hardware on her PC is better than any hardware on a Mac, in my opinion, because it does the job that she wants to do fast. It's reliable, it's dependable, it's upgradable, it costs buttons compared to a Mac. A value for money is just so much better with a PC, in my opinion.
Maybe. I mean, I can't argue about the value for money. Their stuff is extortionate, and it's normally a generation behind because they've got it nice and stable. So, I'm not a fanboy, far from it.
You are. You're a massive fanboy.
No,
It makes me feel sick.
Don't use a Mac. I use a PC. This is being done on a PC.
You're a fanboy.
I've got a 27-inch
Really?
iMac.
My dad's got numerous Macs, and honest to God, for the content that he actually uses it for, it's overkill. Massive, massive overkill. But, he's a fanboy.
Great for old people. Don't crash. Hardly anything to install. Works first time.
I agree.
It's the only thing that old people don't crash, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well,
that was a dig at driving.
The Apple will install everything for old people, won't they? They'll install the lot. But they're not what they used to be. They used to be aimed at the graphics guys and film guys, and that's where they made the money.
Correct. And I think you're right. I don't think it's necessarily the case anymore. I think more people are swaying to Anthony's point of view because they are Satan.
I mean, look at this iPhone. To buy one second hand, £260. Trade-in value £2.
Yeah, it's nonsense, isn't it?
Which is why I spent £6 trying to fix it.
I mean, I don't blame you for trying to fix it, to be honest. But in my experience with anybody with an Apple Mac, they always have problems with the screen smashing, they're not working, and then, like you say, charge leads, they're a joke.
They've done that to the extra security of the leads is to stop people breaking in.
What do you mean breaking in?
There's a couple of devices that the police can buy to break into an iPhone.
Oh, you mean jailbreak it?
Yeah, and you may have noticed if you use cheap leads, it makes you press the ID, the home button, to ensure that it charges. That's what that's all about.
How does the lead thing work? Because I don't know how you can have a fake lead not work. I don't get how they protect it.
It's a data connection, isn't it?
Yeah, but lead's a lead, isn't it?
No, it knows. It knows the difference between an Amazon lead and an Apple lead.
Yeah, it does.
The Apple lead will come up straight away. The Amazon lead will say, to use this accessory, you must press the home button now.
And when you press the home button, what then happens?
It'll start to charge.
Oh, so it's telling you that it knows?
Yes.
Or it won't charge
to make you feel guilty.
On a more recent phone, it'll say this device is not supported or something to that effect. But that was the problem I ran in with the iPad, which is even more modern than my phone. And I just could not get it to charge, and it didn't matter what charger and lead combination. I used a real one with a fake one and back and forth. None of them worked. It was only when I got a brand spanking new lead, which was about 25 quid, and a brand spanking new charger, which was about 30 quid, from the Apple Store direct, then it worked immediately.
Do you not feel as though you're victims of like a cartel, like a control?
It's classic upsell, Tony. Classic upsell.
A classic what?
Upsell.
Yeah, upsell. Yeah, make you buy the one that they want you to buy.
Yeah, that's all it is. I don't agree with it.
Surely it's got to be illegal, that though. Isn't it like anti-competitive?
Now they let other people license it. But they've been busy protecting the phone and the software from, the police being able to break into it.
I agree with that part, stopping the police from getting into it. Not that I can condone crime, but I actually think that the police are pricks in the vast majority of cases, because they basically ignore the crime that they should be dealing with to focus on crime that no one really gives a shit about.
It's like 3 years if you don't give them the password.
Really? 3 years in jail?
Yeah, up to, depending on the crime.
But surely you shouldn't have. This is where I think this is completely wrong. It's your privacy. They've got to try and steal it. I agree with Apple on that front. They should protect it to stop the police from just being this fucking like bully boy tactics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because they see you as immediately suspicious if you've got your computer encrypted or your phone encrypted.
I didn't realise that the police couldn't get into them. I thought it was all smoke and mirrors. I didn't realise it was true.
There's a couple of people that sell machines for 30, 40 grand with software that could
get into it.
That could get past the. You may have noticed they've gone from 4 digits to 6 as well on the passcode.
No, I've never used an Apple product in my life.
Yeah,
I've just seen all the fanboys using it, and I just think, oh, isn't that nice? It's like Red's Rhetoric, but like his version of NASA.
Did you see Red's Rhetoric e-begging last night?
No. What was he begging for?
Petrol.
What do you mean petrol?
To go to some rocket launch.
Really? What? He's in a full-time job. I don't get why he should be begging.
Begs every couple of months now, him and Sean.
Sean criticises anybody that begs, right? He's got to be the biggest beggar. I mean, he begged for a fucking funeral.
Did you see the JD Kane thing on the funeral?
JD Kane?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't know what you're referring to there.
Dig the link.
The what?
I'll dig the link out. Just hold on.
Is it the thing where he had a fight with somebody and they were being arseholes with him, or he was being arseholes with them for no reason or something? I think I might be familiar with it, actually.
Where he was an arsehole all weekend and made his girlfriend sleep on the floor.
Yeah, I am aware of it.
What are you talking about?
Sounds like a horrible person.
What are you talking about?
Red's just being a fucking prima donna because he thinks he's somebody important.
This is just gossip about Reds. It's not Flat Earth related.
It is Flat Earth related, yeah. That that girl that died?
No.
Alan knows, isn't it? Is it Jade?
Yeah,
Jade. Well, some girl died of a real world friend, apparently. But I've heard rumours that it wasn't actually a real world friend. It was some other form of
online friend, I think.
No, it was another form of friendship that wasn't it wasn't a friendship. It was something else that they. No, I don't mean sex. I mean some other form of. I don't know how to word it other than saying agent.
Okay, so just give me the broad strokes.
He was just a prick with her for with the people that came to go to the funeral. He said he didn't want to speak to anybody. It wasn't about flat Earth, or it wasn't about this, that, and the other. It was just about him going for the funeral, paying his respects, and everybody else can fuck off.
What's wrong with
Literally
that?
what he said.
What's wrong with that?
It was the way that he behaved for the whole weekend that people took offence to, because the whole world doesn't revolve around Reds. Unnecessarily rude.
Well, it's personal business. That people. It sounds like people will get. I can't believe you. Why do I be in a position where I could defend Red's rhetoric? It sounds, without knowing the broad strokes of what he was actually saying and why people took offence to it, from what you've just told me, he's saying keep the fuck out of my personal life, right?
No, he was being a prima donna by the accounts of the people that I heard talking about it. You know, acting as though he was like the fucking holier than thou guy, and he wasn't being respectful to the dead. He was being prima donna.
What do you mean by prima donna?
Egocentric. Forget everybody else. We're not here to congregate and socialize. We're here to just go to a funeral, fuck off otherwise. I can't quantify it myself, mate, because
Okay.
Explained in the video, but it was just his overall demeanor for the whole event that seemed to be a little bit questionable.
Okay. I don't know anything about it, so I'll keep my pie hole shut.
Like when they all landed, they were all going to go for food with him. And they're all looking forward to it. And they all drove somewhere for 45 minutes.
Yeah, instead of going around the corner to a local place, he ended up taking them across like to a different state so that his mate's restaurant could do something or other.
Yeah. It sounded horrible. He's fair enough, difficult circumstances, but if you've got trouble with what's happening, I suggest you don't team up in a shared house with 12 other people. You book yourself into a hotel.
He's just not a particularly nice guy, it appears.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's a nice guy. I don't like his style at all.
And they were referring to him as Reds something else, weren't they? Reds. They weren't referring to him as Red's rhetoric. They were referring to him as Red's something else. Red Realm or something like that.
He's got another channel, hasn't he?
Pardon?
He's got another channel.
Oh, right. So what's the other channel called?
No.
Wow, Alan, you don't know?
No, I don't follow him.
Me neither.
Oh,
But I don't know. I just the assumption, my bad for assuming it about you, would be that you'd keep up with all these people.
no, I don't
Clearly.
like him at all. I don't like him or Sean.
Sean?
Sean's he's just there's something mentally not right with that guy.
Sean, who are you talking about? Sorry, I don't know any of these people.
Sean Hufford.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I do know Sean. Sorry.
Weird
2
guy.
minutes.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
His brother's a convicted paedophile.
Do you know, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, let's not dox Sean or his family.
Oh, he said it live on air a couple of times.
But Sean doesn't look normal either. He's got like the most unusual biological makeup setup I've ever seen. He's got, it's not even worth talking about, but he's very unusual.
Yeah, this is all very lowbrow.
I know, I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault, like, but he's quick to point the finger everywhere, like where there's any form of ridicule whatsoever. Last houses.
I agree with Tony. He takes an incredible moral high ground.
Yeah. I mean, he honest to God, that guy is unable to represent my words or context accurately ever. I'm sick of it. He's just. But Conspiracy Cats is doing the exact same thing with Ranty. He's repackaging Ranty's work, and the point Ranty makes in his video, Conspiracy Cats changes that point and calls it something else. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh,
This is it.
You should get another video out of that.
There's no point. I just feel as though you're feeding some form of narcissism to do it, because you're better off just cutting him loose.
Your question, Chocolate. You're always looking at motive, and that leads you to say things. I've got to be quite harsh here, Anthony, that just make you sound retarded. when you start talking about people being shills or whether or not they're paid or their motivation, just pick apart where they're wrong. Who cares about his motivation? It's not important.
I can't be asked even addressing him. That's how bad he is.
You introduced him though, Tony. You're responsible for the monster. You created the monster.
Well, he wasn't a
Introduced him?
monster when
Who are we
I created
talking
him.
about now?
You what?
Who are we talking about now? I thought you were talking about Sean Hufford.
Cats.
Oh, I can't keep up with this conversation. I'm half deaf because I've got a really heavy cold. I'm really sorry. If I lose track of the conversation during the show, I'm just...
You can't keep up with the flat Earth debate, Tony.
I can't keep up with what's being said because I can hardly hear it.
Alan, in my defense, the guy I introduced is not the guy that you're seeing right now.
11,000 subscribers.
Irrelevant point. The guy I introduced is not the guy that you're seeing right now. He's a completely different guy.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate live. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then be sure to subscribe to Nathan Oakley to keep up to date with the live debate. Now we are joined by Alan and Sleeping Warrior, also Chocolate Saying. Good to have you all.
Yo.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You there, Alan?
I'm there,
Good
yes.
to have you. Good to have you all. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Hang on, forget that. Have you fixed your phone yet, Alan?
No,
Oh. No signs of curve yet, Alan. Nathan, have you seen any curvature, Alan?
I've not seen anything. I've got my head down.
Oh.
Very wise. Any signs of axial rotation?
Chocolate, have you found any axial?
Absolutely not.
Nah. Star trails don't prove axial rotation, despite what people say. Telling lies. It's only half the proof. You need another bit of evidence, and it doesn't exist, does it?
Hello.
Hey, Arwin. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
Nah, I've not found any evidence of gravity either, Nathan, unfortunately. Everybody believes it, but when you actually look for it, you realise that that's missing evidence as well.
About the distance to the sun?
There is no distance to the sun.
Yeah, I agree with Arwin. It seems to be some kind of holographic manifestation, metaphysical perhaps. Doesn't seem to be a ball of fluffy white gaseous hydrogen helium nonsense.
Yep.
What about evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container for all those people who believe in the vacuum of outer space?
No.
No. You can't model it. You can't properly physically theorize it. Doesn't work. Can't work. It's a myth. It's a scientism myth. A fantasy.
And there is no universal up or down either, just for anyone that wonders.
That's not the housekeeping question.
I know it's not. I just thought I'd clear that one up for anybody that thinks there might be a universal up or down.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Last but not least, any evidence of the R value? Earth radius, gentlemen.
No.
But the funny thing about it,
Nope.
if it's a presupposition, then you can't really have evidence for it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a presupposition.
Correct.
Exactly.
So there can never be any evidence for a presupposition, because if there were, then it wouldn't no longer be a presupposition.
Yeah, but the problem is they would argue that that's the proof that it must be existing, because it's not a presupposition. It's proof because we wouldn't have a presupposition if it didn't.
Yeah, but they actually have to prove it first.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the same way proof of rotation is that we're not rotating, or we don't feel it.
It's a burden of proof, reversal.
The list of fallacies in this regard go on and on and on, begging the question, affirming the consequent, burden of proof reversal, you name it.
Yeah, I agree.
I might commit this to air now. I haven't said this before because I've just run out of time and my recent community guidelines strike has left me with even less, I'll be honest. But in spite of that, about a month ago now, Jaron asked me to go on his show and talk about logical fallacies and flat earth debate. I did ask Anthony, although recently Anthony announced that he might be taking a hiatus for various different reasons. So I'm going to drop John Quantum Eraser a line. Hopefully between the three of us, there'll be at least a couple of us on that show when I arrange it with Jaron. The problem I've been having is finding the time to actually go back through the debates to find some logical fallacies to use as examples, because he wants maybe half a dozen clips of actual fallacies in operation being picked apart so we can play them on the show and then pick them apart afterwards verbally on an extended show. But it's just finding the time to do it. But I think now if I actually announce it or say that it's going to happen at some stage, it'll put me in a position where I've got even more pressure on me to actually get it done, because every single time I come to do it, something comes up. But there we go. I will get it done, and I do desperately want to go on Jaron's show. I hate to say this if he's watching this. I'm really sorry to say this, Jaron, but I want the publicity. You know, he's a big YouTuber. Why wouldn't I? Obviously, I like Jaron as well. He's an excellent flat Earth proponent. But you know, he's a massive YouTube channel in this little corner of the internet that we have. So obviously, I'd want to go on and talk about what we're doing here because it promotes the show and promotes what we're doing. So hopefully that will happen in the not too distant future once I can actually get my act together and sort out some examples of logical fallacy to present on that show when it happens. So big shout out to Jaron. Obviously, if you're not subscribed to Jaronism, go and subscribe. I'm pretty sure everyone who's subscribed to this channel would be already, but if you're not, go and subscribe to Jaronism.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for some correspondence back from something that I'm hoping gives me something to chew on. Not going to be just yet, though. I think it might be, but I don't think it will be yet. But it's all getting interesting. Things are happening now, and it's like, let's see how this moves forward. Because I was on with Robin last night. Did you see Nathan lifting the lid?
Say that again.
I was on with Robin lifting the lid last night, and Roxanne Glenn, the globalist denier.
Okay, I saw that she did a little advert, which I saw, and then I didn't actually see the show, and I went through my list a couple of times, and I couldn't see it, so I would have watched it.
Yeah, it was really good. We recorded it a week ago, and obviously things have changed a little bit since then. I mean, they're still fundamentally the same. It's just it's progressed a little bit, but it was just a nice show, and it's just nice to see Robin's channel growing. So lifting the lid. If you've not come across his channel, go to lifting the lid, because Robin's he's an interesting guy. He's very meek, very mild, polite.
Hey, is that Plain Truth?
Hello. What?
Good to have you.
Yo, Travis.
Yeah,
Found any curvature, Travis?
none whatsoever.
No.
Nope. I've got a new video coming up where I'm shooting video over the Chesapeake Bay and nary a curve to be found.
Cool. Sounding a bit quiet. Are you on the road?
Just turned him up.
No, I'm just sitting in my flat.
So, what do you know, Travis?
Do I know what?
What do you know?
What do I know? I know that the Earth is stationary.
Yeah, we are not moving. We are not orbiting. We are not rotating.
I know that they're spraying the shit out of the sky.
Yeah, they do seem to be doing that. I don't think anybody can deny that anymore. We can't ridicule it anymore. Question is why? What are they doing?
I mean, even for myself, last night I was watching the sunset, and you know the difference between the sun through natural clouds and the sun through chemical clouds. It is not the same visual phenomenon. It is just not.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really know what's going on. What do you think of chemtrails, Alan? Do you think there's something in it, or do you think what's going on?
I don't think there's anything in it. I think they do some modification, but I know so little about it. I don't feel that I could comment. I think there'd be better ways of distributing things than making them highly visible in the air.
There's no.
And that just depends on
Hey,
what
P.
you want to accomplish.
Hold on, Travis. Hey, P.
Hey Nathan, did you make Paula your bitch last night?
No.
Well, that killed that.
Hey, Nathan,
Yes.
I like that new thumbnail.
Oh yeah,
That,
forgot about that. Shout out to Hyena. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Arwin, what was I going to ask you? I wanted to ask you something. Oh, have you heard from Nora in the last 24?
Sort of.
Is she still pushing this perception of gravity? Do you know? It's not gravity. I know she expressly states it's not gravity, but
I don't really
changed
care.
position at
But
all?
She just told me that she doesn't want to.
Say that again.
She was gonna block me. I was like,
Oh yeah, she blocked me as well.
So I don't care.
She didn't block me.
Good for you.
Well, you gave her the platform for her to talk her nonsense, though.
So, Alan, you commented on my video released yesterday saying, what the hell does this even mean? So, you've got a few minutes for me to talk you through it?
Yeah, talk me through it, Nathan.
Excellent, excellent. So, if you imagine, for example, that instead of people here, this was a depiction of a mountain. Can you visualise that?
I can.
So, this would be a small mountain. Yeah? And behind it, we've got a big mountain. Now, these would be referencing adults, and this would be referencing children. And if you take the feet and inches measurement of the children, it's actually smaller than the feet and inches of the adults. You recognise this depiction. It's often used by globers to represent what we should see, according to them, on a flat plane.
Yes, I recognise the side view.
Excellent. Now, the side view is often used to assert that the thing behind would appear larger. Correct? Because it is larger. Isn't it, Alan? It's a bigger feet and inches value for this than for this. Agreed?
Agreed.
Right. So, according to this diagram, this is bigger than this. Now, this is how globe heads misrepresent a flat plane and ignore perspective. Because here we've got soundly an adult, bigger, as depicted in side elevation. The problem being that he's actually smaller. So here we have conspiracy flaps, representing the child. Obviously, we wouldn't want to use someone else's imagery. And he's bigger than soundly, even though the representation that's shown in side view would suggest that he'd be bigger. So can you see, given I've explained it now, how this is a misrepresentation of perspective?
Not really.
I'll say it again then, because you're slow. According to this, the people behind are bigger, and in actuality, their size is larger. Their feet and inches value is bigger than the feet and inches value of the thing in the foreground. So according to this depiction, this is smaller than this. That's how globe heads represent the flat plane. However, when you actually put that into a perspective view, you can see that the thing that's further away is actually smaller because of perspective, making this representation very inaccurate, and a way that we would assert globe heads misrepresent the actual picture that we analyse. That would be this view, with Soundly's giant head getting ever smaller because he's further away. So a bit like Dougal, Father Ted, this cow is small, that cow is far away. This mountain is small, that mountain is far away. Even though the orthographic misrepresentation given to us by globe heads would suggest contrary to that. Do you understand now? Hello?
Hello?
He's going to say he stepped away and he didn't hear what you said.
No, I'm just slightly distracted. I'm okay.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's not paying attention, Nathan.
So did you understand the second time I explained it?
Yeah.
Or is this going to be another, I need to explain it 6 times and then kick you out?
No, you can do what you want. You usually
So
do.
do you understand now how globe heads misrepresent, hello Daniel, the flat plane?
Hey Nathan, how are you?
Hey Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
Clearly we're not going to get a concession from Alan. I'll
No,
just
he's
state it as
going down.
I'll make it a
He's like
statement
another
rather than a
iPhone
question.
battery or something.
That is how globe heads misrepresent the reality we do not live in an orthographic representation, claiming that things on the right-hand side of the page that have a bigger feet and inches value should appear bigger, when in reality they're further away, therefore have the effects of perspective applicable.
If you were more secure in your beliefs, you wouldn't have to force
Belief in
people
what?
to
Sorry, what am I believing in now?
agree with you.
Sorry, what is it I'm believing in now?
Like, I think it's a sign of a lack of
But, yeah.
faith that you have to force everyone to agree with you and believe the same things you believe.
I think we did this last time on the exact same picture. Mackold Lighthouse. End of explanation for me as a flat earther. Earth is clearly flat. There's a lighthouse. It is there. I do see it. Now, maybe you'd like to try and quantify this picture as a globe head who thinks it's not there, that it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena hologram of the lighthouse that's actually popping its head above Earth curve because of refractive effects that comply to a radius you will assume with a 7/6 value attached to it. So go ahead, P. You tell me how me saying Mackold Lighthouse, the Earth is obviously and observably flat, compares to your slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena fantasy of a globe. I have no faith in the fact that that is Mackold Lighthouse. I can state it. It's a concrete noun. I do see it. It is there. That is all I need do. You, on the other hand, have a very problem with that picture. Not me. You. You need to start expressing your faith in R to qualify what you do actually see in this picture, because you shouldn't see it if you have faith in a globe. We've gone over this before, P. No faith being asserted when I say Mackold Lighthouse. None. Flat earthers can do that.
Well, I asked R to give your main channel a strike, and then the next day your main channel got a strike, so I'm pretty sure R came through on that one for me.
Good for you. In R you trust. The all-powerful R must have been the one that gave me a strike. Maybe you could formulate that into a logical fallacy, just to prove it to the audience and the rest of the dumb people like yourself.
I mean, do you think it's a coincidence? I prayed to R the night before.
Right, we're off topic
strike
immediately.
Nathan down.
You claimed I had a belief, P.
Next day, you got a strike.
Yeah, this
Seems-
is off topic. You claimed, you asked a question, does it make your belief stronger? So I immediately, while you were saying it, this was on screen. Something that I have no belief or faith in. There it is, Mackold Lighthouse. End of explanation for me as a flat earther. Explanation from Globehead. 3 months of debate. So no reply to that then. I don't have a faith in this shit. You do, P. That's my point. Clearly, we must move on to other things quickly.
I have a justified belief, and you have a fucking scam that you're
No
pulling on
need
your
to swear.
audience.
Don't get triggered, P. That would be your loss, my win. No need to get triggered. Just be humble.
Who's getting triggered?
Yeah, you are. You claimed I had a belief. In fact, I don't. You do.
What? Everyone has a belief.
No, I don't. Mackled Lighthouse. Do you want to explain where my belief lies in that statement?
Oh.
Total fail. No belief. It is Mackled Lighthouse. I see it. There it is.
You're believing in the reliability of sense experience in terms of induction.
Really? Well, it's been confirmed by 2 different cameras, by 2 different people on 2 different separate locations and days and times and atmospheric conditions. I'm pretty sure I can trust what I see. You, on the other hand, need to assert on all of those other occasions where this exact image has been replicated, it's all slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holograms because of an R calculator that tells you it's not really there. So, I don't have a belief. Mackled Lighthouse. End of explanation for me as a flat earther. Obviously and observably flat. No belief required. You have a belief because according to you, and you're begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator that relies on a presupposition of an R value, it's not really there and needs some explaining. It suddenly becomes a phenomena. It suddenly becomes a hologram. Yet you've got a belief, not me.
We both have beliefs.
Mackled Lighthouse, how many times do you want to do this? You tell me where my belief lies.
You can't get away from having a belief.
Sorry, I don't believe it. It's
Nathan,
fact. You're denying my fact? 2 words. Mackled Lighthouse. No belief required to make that statement of fact.
No,
None.
it's a belief. It's a belief. You believe it's flat.
Sorry, that is Mackled Lighthouse.
Flat.
Confirmed by about 3 dozen different people over the course of about 3 months. I'm absolutely, unequivocally certain of my statement of fact, Alan. Mackled Lighthouse. End of explanation for me.
Then you have a belief.
No. It's a picture. Are you pulling my chain? It's not a belief,
No.
it's a picture.
You
A
have
very,
a belief.
very well-studied picture of Mackled Lighthouse. Fact. That's what it is.
You have a belief.
You were
Where's
talking
my
about your
belief?
belief
Explain
in
my belief.
perspective.
Don't just state it. Explain it. Where's the belief?
You believe the world is flat because of Mackle Lighthouse.
No, I didn't
Yes,
say
you
that.
did.
I said the Earth is obviously and observably flat because I can see Mackled Lighthouse. That's the end of my explanation. No further explanation is required because, fact, I do see it. It is there. I don't need any further explanation. It's a concrete noun. So, no
further
belief
explanation
required.
is
None.
If no further explanation is required, why'd you make a whole video about explaining perspective and all that? I thought you said no explanation is required.
There isn't.
Why'd you make a video about perspective?
For morons,
That's about a different
I feel
observation.
like you're contradicting yourself here, Nathan.
Sorry, that's about a different observation, though, isn't it? That's a response to conspiracy clats, who seems to think that a mountain further away should remain the same feet and inches value. Its actual size stays the same. He's just a moron. And with a little moo cow joke sound effect referring to Father Ted explaining to Dougal that this cow, which is a toy, is small, and that cow out the window is far away, and Dougal struggles to get that, just like Conspiracy Cats fails to get that. And so did Alan when I put it up on a video. What does this even mean? It means you dicks use a side profile. That's what that was about. This, on the other hand, is a statement of fact when I say Mackled Lighthouse, and I need not explain a concrete noun in the same way I need not explain the mouse that I'm holding. I don't need to explain it, it's just a mouse. I don't need to explain it, it's just Mackled Lighthouse. But if you look at this picture, it suddenly becomes a phenomena, a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena. For you, the one with a globe belief. Not me, the one who just sees it because it's obviously flat.
Well, don't you believe in perspective?
Yeah, it's very small, dipshit. It's 31 miles away. Hello, it's very small. Did that answer your question?
So you have beliefs then?
What, that it's got smaller with distance? No, again, that's self-evident. I can see the mountain and the lighthouse in the same frame.
So you don't
that's
think?
blatantly
Do you
obvious.
think it gets smaller
Dumbo?
with distance? Then
Yeah, it's very small because it's far away, and I can see a mountain as well. Surprisingly, that at 31 miles, it's small.
So you have beliefs.
No, that's a fact.
No, Nathan.
Another
Nathan.
statement of absolute fact. It is small because it's 31 miles away.
Fact and belief aren't mutually exclusive, though.
It is a fact. It is far away. This was taken
Fact.
at 31 miles. It is small
Fact.
because of perspective. That's a fact. If you want to
Nathan,
deny that or tell me I've got a belief in
mutually
it,
exclusive.
then fine, you're a
Just-
moron.
Nathan.
Nathan, fact and belief aren't mutually exclusive, so that's not an argument. That it's
Nathan, knowledge and facts are subsets of belief.
Oh, really? That's really fascinating. Does that change that I don't have a belief that it's Mackalled Lighthouse as a flat
You
earther?
have a belief system.
No, it is Mackalled Lighthouse. I do see it, and the Earth is obviously and observably flat. According
Therefore,
to you, it's not really there, even though we can bloody see it. And why isn't it really there when we can actually see it? Because of your belief in R. You believe something's obscuring our view of this lighthouse, because geometrically it is, even though we see it.
And you have a belief system.
No.
Alan, you sound like a robot.
I say, how many times have I got to say? It's a statement of fact. There's Mackalled Lighthouse. Where's
And
the
knowledge and
belief in
facts are
statement of...
subsets of beliefs.
Yeah, just being pedantic, idiot. It is
No,
Mackalled
no.
Lighthouse,
I'm
that's
being-
fact.
I'm
You
being
don't have to like
factual.
it, Globehead.
Fine.
You have got a belief in slightly looming non-standard refraction hyenas. That's a fact also. So there's no disputing what I state as fact. I see it and it is there. We've got a bloody photograph. You think it's not there if you've got a belief in a globe. That's facts. You don't have to like it. P. Mars, Alan, you don't have to like this. Tough luck if you don't. Argue all day that subsections of belief are blah, 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 bollocks. You've got a belief that it's not really there because it's obscured from Earth curve. Bollocks. It is there. I see it. That's my statement as fact as a flat earther, and I don't need to explain a concrete noun. You do.
Belief system.
Yeah, belief in Earth curve that's blocking it. That's what you've got, not me. I just see it and no further... How many times have I got to say this? I've said it about 10 times.
Okay, relax. And relax.
No, you've got a belief, Alan. You're trying to justify it.
My belief is no bigger than yours.
You believe an Earth curve is blocking this lighthouse, Alan.
And you believe it's flat.
No, I actually see the lighthouse. No belief. That's probably the 11th time I've said it. There's no belief when I state as fact that is Mackalled Lighthouse, and I do see it. That's not belief.
I can see how you get upset, Nathan. Fuck.
Yeah, so I'll say it again. You globehead religious zealots have a belief. You believe there's an Earth curve blocking our view of this lighthouse, even though we actually see it. That's a
How
fact.
come you can see why
a
anything
fact
gets
about
upset?
your belief, and every time I get to the end of that statement, you will
You are
tell
the
me
ones with the
that I've got a
belief
belief
system.
when I state a fact. Mackalled Lighthouse. End of explanation.
Everyone has a belief system. You can't really avoid having a belief system.
Yeah, I have a belief that if I have the right tools, I can fix something, stuff like that. But I don't believe space stories, fantasies of other planets out there.
Has Nathan just dropped?
So
I don't understand why I don't get that it's a belief system.
no one said you did believe in space. We're just saying that there's no getting away having a belief system. Everyone has a belief in something. It's impossible to not have any beliefs.
Yeah, you can believe in yourself and have confidence that you can go out and do things and have, the necessary stuff to deal with society and stuff like that. But that's not what we're talking about here.
That is, well, because Nathan's. It is though, because Nathan said that he doesn't have any beliefs, but that's
No.
not true.
I said I don't have to have a belief to state that I can see Mackalled Lighthouse. I can state it as fact. We do see
But
it. It is there. And every time
You
I
state
state
that-
that, someone starts talking over me. In this case,
Sorry.
you, Pete.
You're coming through with a lot of delay, Nathan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh, right.
You might have been you, Alan.
But
Pardon?
how can you guys say it's a belief system when you just you see things, you observe them, and you realize that there's no curve involved in it or anything like that?
Because knowledge and facts are a subset of beliefs.
No, Alan, it's not a belief. You're not believing
It
anything.
is.
Okay.
Seeing something.
Maybe I can explain it to you like this. We can see during the day the
I
sky
don't
is
understand
blue.
what you're going to say that's going to be different than what we've been talking about for the last,
Because
couple
here,
years.
let me explain it to you like this. During the day, we can all agree.
I don't understand how
Okay,
you
God.
come on here every day. You just say we're believing in something that is just it's not like that.
Daniel, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that Nathan is seeing Magdold Lighthouse?
Do I believe he's seeing it?
Sorry, it's a
Yeah.
picture. It's a photograph. What are you talking about?
I don't understand, Alan. I've seen things that I know that represent a flat Earth. And I don't have to believe it. I just see it.
But this is the bottom
This
line.
is-
To
this
justify
is the-
their own belief, they've got to get us to deny the very existence of reality. So we see a photograph and we've got to question the reality. That's the point. You have got to question reality because you've got a globe belief and we don't. You want to force us to try and question what we see with our own eyes on a photograph because that's what
No,
you must do. We don't have to do that. You have to do that and you're trying to force us to do it. No, we don't
Nathan.
need to justify seeing something in a picture. You do. That's the point.
Okay. Well, there's an idiom called "seeing is believing." So, I mean, just because you see something doesn't mean
Yeah,
it's not
that's
a
my
belief.
point. So you've just made my point for me. So you have to make us say, seeing isn't really believing. Because I've got belief in a globe and suddenly this actual picture of a lighthouse becomes a slightly illuminating non-standard refraction hyena, i.e. a phenomena that we need to science. That's what you must do. Must. I don't have to. No matter how much you tell me that seeing isn't really believing, you must do that because you've got a belief. I don't have to do that. So you keep making my point for me, P.
Hey, P. Mars.
We're
P.
letting
Mars.
go.
Okay,
How
seeing
did,
is
he, how, did he
believing.
warp, how did he warp that around to favor him? That makes no sense.
Seeing is believing references an observed phenomena,
Yes.
not things that you imagine must be there.
Nathan, do you believe you're seeing Maghold Lighthouse? Yes or no?
I've been and seen it with my own eyes. And I've
Hang
got
on,
a
hang
picture
on.
of it.
He's playing semantics. He's playing
Yeah, I know he's
semantics.
playing
with the
semantics because he
definition of
must
believe.
demand, I've said it 3 times, I'll say it again, they must question what they see. That's the point. That's their belief. They must question it. We don't have to, but they want to force us to question it. Even though we do see it. Oh, is it really a Mackled Lighthouse that you're seeing? Yeah, it is. End of explanation. It's a concrete noun. No explanation required for me as a flat earther. No matter how many times you tell me that I have to question what I see, I won't. It's there. It's a photograph. Lots of people have taken it on different days in different conditions. I am certain.
Alan, let's.
There is a line of sight.
Tony, can I ask you a question?
Well, hang on. Let me flip that
I
question.
have no belief system. Is that a belief system?
Well, is it? How could you prove that it wasn't a belief and the concrete noun that we see, the lighthouse, is actually a manifestation? How could you prove that it wasn't real?
Because he makes a statement after that the world is obviously and observably flat.
Yes,
Therefore,
there's nothing in
he
the
creates-
way. You believe there's an obstruction blocking our view. How many times have I got to say this? Nothing's blocking our view. We can see it.
I already fucking have one.
Hello? We can see it. There's nothing obscuring the view. Your
It's a
belief
belief
is the only thing obscuring your mentality from saying, yeah, I do see it. It's really there. That's the only thing stopping us from saying, yeah, we see it, is you, with your belief.
Yeah.
Do you think proof and belief are different?
Sorry,
Absolutely.
is it not proof? Do you dispute that it's Mackled Lighthouse? Is that not proof?
Do you believe you're seeing?
Excuse me,
Maghold
is it not proof with several photographs on several days? That's not proof, is it?
Hang on, Nathan. I think you should answer that question. Do you believe that you're seeing Mackled Lighthouse?
I am seeing it. It's a
The
photograph.
question is, no. The question is, do you believe that you're seeing it?
No, it's not a belief. It is actually
Right.
there.
Be phrased like that.
Tony, do you have to prove something to believe in it?
It don't
Absolutely.
need to prove anything. There's no necessity for us to prove it. It's a concrete noun. How many times? You must turn this into a phenomena. We don't have to. That's the point.
So, Tony, you answered you have to prove something to believe in it, but is it possible to believe in something that doesn't exist or not likely to be true?
That's an argument from ignorance fallacy. What kind of a dick are you? You're just descending
I'm
this into
talking-
nonsense.
Tony, I'm trying to have a
That's
discussion.
called an argument from ignorance fallacy. Nonsense again from Alan. Rather than just conceding that he must turn this into a phenomena, we as flat earthers don't have to, because it's a photo of a lighthouse. And that's the end of our explanation. We just see it.
So you don't believe you've seen the lighthouse?
I do see it. It's in a photo.
Do you believe it?
What do you mean? What's to believe?
Alan.
What's to believe? We're going round in circles. Last
Do
time.
we believe our eyes? Do we believe eyes in general? Eyes of a camera, eyes of our own? Do we believe them? Yeah. Yeah, we do. We believe
Alan,
that
can I just ask? Why
things
is,
being displayed are there or used to be there when the photo was made because they were there.
So
That's
you
what
believe
we
it,
believe.
and you have a belief system.
Alan, can I ask you? If
We
You're-
believe reality is real.
in 1 sec. If you're questioning what we see and whether it's tangible and real or not compared to what we believe we see, why is the same not applied to Tim Osmond's picture when Tim claims that we're at the bottom of the buildings?
Yeah, let's talk about that, Tony. Do you accept mirages are real?
We're not seeing a mirage, though, are we?
No, but do you accept that they're real in photos?
Mirages are not real. They're intangible manifestations of some kind, aren't they?
Do they need an explanation?
Pardon?
Do they need an explanation?
Yeah, of course they do.
No. There you
Sorry,
go.
it's a phenomena. That's the point. So you're now describing a phenomena and asking whether a phenomena needs explanation. The lighthouse is not a phenomena. It's a concrete noun. Not a phenomena. You as a globehead must turn this into a phenomena, even though it's just a lighthouse we can just see. You must do that. That's because you've got a belief in art.
Yeah, you don't trust your eyes.
So you can't. So you
Only look through your mind because your mind allows you to see your model while reality does not.
Alan, what evidence have you got that makes you question the concrete nounness of that particular lighthouse? Why might you not think that it's a real thing that you can see?
because he has to believe that he's seeing it. Therefore, a belief system.
Sorry, I'm not believing I'm seeing it. I am seeing it. I
Knowledge
am
and fact
actually
are-
seeing it. I'm not believing that I'm seeing it. You believe you're seeing Earth curve obscuring it and a slightly looming non-standard refraction coming back from beyond that Earth curve. That's what you believe. Totally patently absurd, but that's what you believe. And when I say I just see it, you ask me whether or not I actually see it or not and get me to question something in a photograph because you have a belief, not me.
Oh, sorry, I win.
No, you haven't answered my
All right,
question.
declaring victory will get you kicked out. Goodbye, Alan. No, you have not won. You have a religitard belief. So declaring victory after you've had your ass handed to you on about a dozen occasions doesn't get you staying here. It gets you kicked out. No, you did not win. How dare you, disingenuous little prick. Get out.
Oh,
Alan B disbelieves sight. Not eyes, not cameras, just sight in general.
I find it interesting that he'll
I don't-
question the nature of the lighthouse, but he'll not question whether or not that squashing that we see in Tim's picture and the obstruction that looks like a mirage in his picture. Why doesn't he question that? That's exactly what we're questioning. We're saying we see stuff that's clearly optical. Cause we don't know, but it's clear that it's definitely something optical because we know that the buildings don't squash from the bottom up. But he doesn't question it with Tim. He only questions it with us.
That went on far too long.
It's interesting
3
dynamics. to
times,
say.
that's it. You know,
It's unreal that we have to have this type of conversation with grown-ups.
round and round and round we go.
Can I throw a spanner in the works here, gentlemen?
That's a terrible
With
echo
a
you've
lot
got
of
going
echo.
on there, Mark.
Mark Doxy, are you in space?
So, hang on, the kids have been playing with it. Can you hear me okay, John? Hang on. There we go. Can I throw a spanner in the works here, gentlemen?
You can do whatever you like, Mark.
The aerification fallacy. If we depend on a photograph as evidence, is that the aerification fallacy?
No,
Not if
it's
I've
relying
seen
on
it.
a concept.
I've been and seen it.
They're treating it as though it's real world.
Yeah, I've been and seen it.
Oh yeah. If you've personally seen it, then you're not depending on a photograph. If
Hey,
you
Adam.
depend on a photograph
Hey, Adam.
Hi,
as
mate.
evidence,
How you doing?
No, a photograph is not a concept.
Adam.
It's evidence, isn't it? It's something real.
Chocolate.
well, this is what happened to me the other day. The police were stopping people, breathalyzing them just as a random drink driving thing. On my license, I have a picture of myself without a beard, but I wear a beard at the moment. And when he asked for ID, I gave him my license without a beard, and he looks at the license and he says, "Is this you?" And he's pointing to the plastic picture of me, and he says, "Is this you?" Well, I'm not a piece of plastic.
You should have answered, "No, that's my grandmother."
Yeah, but is this police officer depending on the reification?
Reification. Begins with re.
Reification. Okay, reification. I mean, I'm not the piece of plastic, and neither is that picture of the lighthouse a photograph. You've got to go and personally experience it before you can say, yes, that's absolutely true.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because if you have a woman, or what looks like to be a woman in a swimming pool from a distance with bikini on and boobs sticking out, how can you verify that that's actually female until you take further precautions?
That's his point. That's his point. That's the point. That's the point Mark's just made.
No, he said the opposite. He said you
No,
wouldn't know.
he's
that
making the
it was a
same
real
point.
lighthouse until
He's saying unless
seen
you
it.
can go and validate it, then you're just reifying it if you're only using a photo.
We can't trust photographs. We call NASA out as frauds because they present photographs, but we know that they're CGI.
The difference is that any average Joe can go to this lighthouse, can go to Australia, can go to Puerto Rico and verify it's a real thing.
Yes.
It's a real thing and it's true.
Exactly,
But
Jose.
yes.
for
exactly.
other planets and seeing balls like millions of miles away, none of us can do it. Nobody, just a handful of chosen people by the elites, you know.
Now
That's the difference.
you need to then contact the astronomers to show you this special setup telescope where you can look on more close up on other planets. And
Well, I'm
with
just
special
saying that
telescopes.
presenting a photograph in today's world is shaky evidence. You've got to go and personally experience it.
No, I don't agree. If you go and personally experience something, you can make mistakes. If we both witnessed a bank robbery, you can say that there were 4 people there, and I say no, there was 5.
Well, 4 and 5 is not a contradiction, because there are 4 people, even if there's 5 people there. There are 4 people as well.
The point is that we can perceive things differently, even though we see the same event.
Yeah, but you may know the names of 4 people of those 5 and say there were 4 people there, but there is also a 5th one.
Riley, you're wrong. No, if you're going to be at the same event, you might pay attention to different elements of that event and focus on them, but they're all going to be watching part of the event. So
Anyway,
are you saying that a photo is or is not credible evidence in terms of making decisions on the shape of the Earth?
well, I can manipulate a photograph to make it appear as a lie. Well, I can tell a lie with a photograph.
Not unless you're deceitful.
Absolutely, yeah. Unless you do, but to convince somebody, they've got to personally experience it.
What about the videos? I don't see how you can fake those pretty easily. Like Ranty does it every day.
Listen, I'm not questioning Ranty.
Yeah, hell no, we're not questioning Ranty. I mean, come on.
Well, hang on. That lighthouse came from a video.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, I'm on your side, but when we're talking to somebody who's a globe earther, they can claim a fake or fraud like we do.
Well, they can.
So we can tell them this is the coordinates, this is the place it was taken, this is the temperature. You can go anytime you want. It's free. Yeah. It's an open place, public. Now, if they say, "Oh, I got this picture of a Himawari satellite taken every 10 minutes. Oh yeah, when can I go there? Or who can go there? You know, can you take me? Can you invite me there? Right?"
My question was, are we committing the reification fallacy if we depend on a photograph as evidence?
No, I would say that I'm not convinced that you understand what the reification fallacy is. It's really a concept or a drawing or something that's not actually real, like the lighthouse. and claim that it is real and treat it as real. So an orthographic drawing would be a reification fallacy if you were claiming that this is how we see the world. Well, it isn't how we see the world. The way we see the world is through eyeballs, and it should be taken from the eyeball perspective, because that would then be the way we see the world. So the reification fallacy is used
as in like the body of science, right?
Well, no, can I give a direct example, Mark? So a reification fallacy would be to say we don't really see the lighthouse because Earth curves obscuring the view, and it's then having the light bend around the curve of the Earth that we don't see to make it appear again in our line of sight in the photograph. Well, that is a reification fallacy. That's using a model to say that we don't really see something we do see because of the model getting in the way and light bending around at the presupposed radius of that model, 7/6 of it. You know, that's a reification fallacy because the picture's just a picture.
So I'm using a map. Is that a reification fallacy?
Definitely. If you claim that the map is your reality, the map is not the terrain. So if you start pointing at the map like the policeman pointed at your picture and saying, this is where we are, no, you're not. You're standing on terra firma. The map is not the terrain. The model is not the world. That is, in essence, the definition of a reification fallacy.
A map is not the territory it represents, but if correct, it has similar structure to the territory, which accounts for its usefulness.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. The map is made of paper. The terrain is made of soil and water and atmosphere and multitude of other things that aren't paper.
I said it's not the territory it represents, but if it's correct, then it's useful. So
yeah.
If the model is correct, then it's useful.
Yeah, P, but that would be useful to get where you're going. That's not useful to prove the shape of the Earth. It is just a piece of paper.
What's the difference?
The difference is if you start claiming that the equator is a real thing when it's not. It's an arbitrary point on a map. There's no line drawn around a circumference of an Earth that's been presupposed by globe heads. To say that there is to reify a concept. The concept of an equator, which we definitely don't have. There is no mark that you can go to. There's no real place called the equator. To say that there is to reify something in a model.
Yeah, the equator is a concept.
Precisely. Earth curves blocking our view of a lighthouse, also a concept. It looming, also a concept. To say it is doing those things is to reify your model. I want to give a massive shout out to everyone who's in chat. So this is, as everyone on the panel is probably well aware, the second channel. 174 people watching on the second channel. That's absolutely awesome. Also, huge shout out if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley channel and you're one of the 9,000 subscribers. Thank you very, very much for subscribing. And I'm pretty certain that by the end of today, the second channel, which is called Nathan Oakley, will hit 2,000 subscribers, both in the same day. So I'm pretty made up today, in a very good mood. Thank you very much for everyone who subscribed. And if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 and you're unaware that the show streams live on Nathan Oakley, there's a link in the info box below the video. So go and subscribe to Nathan Oakley if you want to participate or watch the show live.
It's over 9,000!
Yay! Shout out to Hyena for today's thumbnail. Me as the Punisher with a slightly wonky head.
You know, I told Hyena to make a meme for you. He didn't use the picture that I gave him, but that's where the picture you got came from.
Oh, cool.
So definite shout out to Hyena.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just to let you know, Mark, you're playing a really high-pitched squeal noise, and it's cutting everybody's mic out because you're louder than everybody else, and you're not even speaking.
Yeah, I'm mute now. Is that okay?
Yeah, when you're not speaking, just mute.
We'll have a short 10-minute break in about 5 minutes or so, just so you're aware.
Let's just remind people the reification fallacy. It's treating a concept or an abstract thought or representation as real world. So if it's an abstract thought or a concept and you're treating it as though it's the real world, like gravity, perhaps. We all understand what gravity is.
You had to throw that one in, didn't you?
Sorry, not aimed at you, but it's a good example. We all know what it is, but is it real world? That's the question, and obviously the answer is, well, it's highly debatable.
So when the police officer asked me, "Is this you?" and he was looking at a piece of plastic, is he using a reification fallacy?
Yeah, he's using a concept of a driving license as a
Yes.
representation of you, and really the answer to your question is no, you are you.
It gets worse. So you go and ask a free man the same question, and he'll say that in his logic and his overall demeanour towards the world and the people he deals with, he reifies them as non-people in the first instance anyway. So in the most truest sense of the word, he looks at you, instead of using the word photograph, use like a concept like barcode, you know, a number, and that's what he's asking. Are you this number? Because you're not a real person, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I point to myself and says, no, this is me. No, I wouldn't dare say that to them.
Yeah, they don't like people that have flippant review comments that because they can't understand that it's not actually flippancy. It's actually, well, this is me. You're looking at him. The mushy stuff's not in the seat.
Yeah.
I've had a delivery today. Our dishwasher drains into the same sinkhole that the sink drains off into, and over time they get clogged up and blocked because of basically it's quite a long runoff before it reaches the main drain. So the fats and the juices from the dishwasher solidify over time in the pipe, and periodically you got to drain it out and clean it out with a drain cleaner. Anyway, I tried to drain clean it, didn't fix it, so I had to get one of those rods. It's just been delivered, and I've just felt all manly because I've managed to clean my kitchen drain. Yay!
I'm so glad I told you that we were going to round out the show soon, because that's just the kind of cliffhanger you need to entice an audience to the next show.
I thought it was going to be a flat earth proof he was going to come out with the drains, but
no. Yeah, it swirled the opposite way around. It didn't do it.
Oh, you're going to link it to Coriolis just to save yourself.
Yeah, I could do. Have you rounded out, or are we still on?
No, not yet. I was hoping for a better point. I'll hold out hope.
No, I was just feeling manly because I'd unblocked my drain. But I'll just say that it swirled the opposite way to the Coriolis force, so we can't be living on a ball, right? I haven't got any evidence to support my position, though.
You got a photograph?
I'll draw it on a piece of paper.
That'll do.
Draw it with an orthographic view and a single cropped image from about 10 different cameras that you've taken up to a particular location, and that'll serve as absolute proof, I would say.
But I'll put a smudge on it as well for Alan.
Perfect.
Hey, Adam.
Is this a euphemism for you hooking up with some flat earther's wife?
Yeah. Adam, I've got some really cool tech to see. Pete, do you actually want to stay in this hangout, or do you just want to get kicked for being a dick?
Oh, it's just an honest question. You really cleaned a drain? I thought you were being,
No, even if it is an honest question, what makes you think that I would even venture to tell you anything about anything not flat Earth related? What makes you think that I would talk?
As these guys discuss a very non-related personal issue, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley channel and the premiere of this debate, then be sure to subscribe to Nathan Oakley channel, which is the channel this debate was actually streamed live on. So hit the link in the info box to go to Nathan Oakley channel and hit the subscribe button there. Also, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!